Okay. I wanted to make sure that I had my little setup for Big O. King Rastafari, right on time. I see you in the building, babe. Shout out to the 4 people in my Midnight Mindfulness lesson on House of Healing LLC as well. I really was not planning to be here. Hold on. Let me close. Okay, so yeah, so I really I'm trying to be more consistent. I really don't feel like being here, but I'm here. I really want to just lay down and rest, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I didn't have a good night last night. I wasn't feeling too well, and so I don't know how long I'm gonna be here tonight, but I am gonna try to stay. And I appreciate you, King Rastafari. I'm gonna try to stick out my 2 hours on Bigo. So we'll see. Okay, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about for 2 hours. I may, I don't know. I may try to just go do it early tomorrow or something if I don't get my 2 hours in. But what am I? Oh, hold on. Let me get my little sounds together because this is not even an actual video that I'm going to be listening to. That is the one I'm listening to. But let's see if they already have done. Is that really? Okay. Okay, so peace, love, life, healing, and abundance, family. So for those of you who will catch this later, if you can't last through the entire the whole stream. You can catch this on House of Healing LLC. It will be part of the Midnight Mindfulness playlist. Okay. And for some reason, I had actually set this live up a day or two. I don't know how long ago it was, but for some reason, I called it the Quickening. Okay. So, according to whatever comes out, this may also be added to the unraveling playlist. So let's just see what spirit wants to talk about. Now I do have some things written down that some downloads that I had that I am going to go into. So whatever comes up, because I'm in like this state of I'm really relaxed, and but it's because I'm tired a little bit, but it's because I was not feeling well last night. I was exhausted, and I did rest a little bit. I didn't get to go to sleep till like 8 o'clock this morning. And so I'm a little bit tired, but I'm also just exhausted from, what I was going through last night. And so, yeah, um, glad to be feeling better either way. So I want to talk about, the healing that Mother Earth is going through, because as Mother Earth is healing, so are those of us who are connected to Mother Earth. And so this healing process is something that, it's not for the faint of heart. Okay. And it's something that you can't ignore if you are going through it. And so it's something that you can't avoid, because like I said, the entire planet is going through this process. And so all of us are being affected in some way. Okay. And those of us who are intimately connected to the earth and to other planetary bodies, we are going through these intense personal healing. It's levels to it, but it's healing. This is why we hear a lot of people talk about how healing is a lifelong journey. And it could be because, it took a lifetime to probably pile some of these layers on that are being unraveled during the healing process. And so, of course, but we do reach plateaus, and we do see ourselves changing in beautiful ways as this healing is happening. So it's a beautiful transformation that's happening from the inside out. And at this moment, this time and space that we're in, we're all going through this in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so if it's intense for you at this time, just know that you're not alone. Okay, I talk to a lot of people. Okay, and I'm one of the people as well, who is also going through this healing process. Okay, so those of us who have been doing the work, we've been working extremely hard. Okay, so don't ever doubt that this is a collective consciousness and a collective effort that we're doing, but we also have to begin with our own individual journeys. Okay, so if we have been doing this work, we've been working to release spiritual gravity in the forms of past traumas, in the forms of anxieties, okay, or fears about the future. Okay, and in doing so, we have learned how to concentrate our energy in the present moment. Okay, and when I say concentrate, I like to break that word down to really, because the visual that I see is more like concentrate. Because when I say concentrate, then this, it gives me more of the visual that I like to give, because to concentrate is to, to focus all of the energy in the center. Okay, in the center. So when we concentrate our energy, okay, in where the center of power is within us, which is always in the present moment. It's never when we're thinking about the past or imagining the future. Okay, all of the power that we have to make changes to anything is right now in this moment. So to concentrate is to have all of your power with you right now. And I mean mental power, mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. So in order to do this, we have to, first of all, think about what we're thinking about, be conscious. of what's occupying our minds, because there's several layers of consciousness. And the part of the mind that we want to focus on most, because this is the blueprint that is creating our reality, it's the blueprint from which our reality is unfolding, is the heart center. And so if we want to, we want to think about, our reality unfolding from there, we got to want to think about the state of the heart. Okay. And so this is something that a lot of people ignore in their lives, and it's of utmost importance. Okay. So anyone who is religious, I want them to go back and read their books and see what was the basis of the teachings, because a lot of people get lost up in the dogma of religion and the theology and the doctrine of religion. And, but we can't, we have to really think about the message, because, not being a religious person, but being more spiritual. Okay. I can take I can take a religious text and break it down, because they do have a spiritual meaning. But never have I subscribed to any organized religion, because you can't fit my God into one religion or one theology or one belief system. Okay. So I understand, the prime creator to, it's a puzzle. So each religion, from my perspective, has a piece of the puzzle. Each different walk of life is not just religion, but different walks of life and, belief systems. They may have different pieces of the puzzle, but the puzzle is not complete. I don't feel that one religion has a complete puzzle. And this is why I don't subscribe to any of them. But I'm going to seek with, what I'm saying, until the ends of the earth with all of my heart, until I do feel that I am complete. Okay. And I hope that you all, will do the same if it's important to you. If it's not, then, to each their own. So all of our power is in the present moment. Okay, which is where we have the authority to make the necessary changes to be the writer of our own story from here on out, if we choose to, concentrate the power of now into, the power into I'm saying the power of now. I believe Eckhart Tolle wrote that book, and it was all about, putting all your power where it's going to be most effective, because we don't understand that when we're, still holding on to past traumas from the past, because we haven't learned yet the art of detachment, okay, from those things, or we haven't healed or unraveled those things. We haven't chosen to, take it upon ourselves to face those things, and, to allow these memories of traumas or whatever to rise to the surface, to be released, because it does require that you sometimes relive the emotional part of it. You may feel the pain again, okay? But if you are brave enough to release it, then, it's no longer a part of you. But, this is easier said than done. But if we are to heal, and if we are going to evolve beyond, the levels that we're being held onto by this heaviness of these traumas, and that cause spiritual gravity, if we are to move beyond, then this is the work that must be done. So I also wanted to speak on, where we are, because like I said, the entire planet is ascending. Okay. So anyone, we're all going to be affected in some way, shape, or form. And those of us who are more sensitive, more intimately connected to the planet, are going to feel this more deeply. Okay. So, we talk about ascension symptoms. Okay. For me right now, I was just thinking, like, you guys may hear my stomach growl because I'm fasting. I haven't been able, the reason I was up last night is because I ate something that I shouldn't have eaten. And I was suffering all night because, my body was just not having it. Okay. And so I was like, okay, I'm totally under submission now. Okay. It's 1:11 on the clock, by the way. Um, totally now I'm like, no, I'm only drinking my herbal tea today. So this is what I've been. So yeah, I'm glad I'm better too, King Rastafari. Thank you. But yeah, so today I've been fasting, and I'm just gonna, at least for 3 days, at least. So, So that's one of the reasons, that I was, that I'm tired. But I wanted to stop by, and like I said, I do want to be more consistent because of what's happening, and where we are in the spirit realm as far as, the warfare going on, and people not understanding that World War III is spiritual and that the battlefield is the mind. Okay. And what's going to be being affected is your thoughts and your emotions more so than anything else. Okay. So a lot of the thoughts, if you're having negative thoughts, and negative thought forms are feeling low vibrations, such as anxiety and fear and things of this nature, these very well may not be your thoughts. Okay. And for a lot of people, these are um, also some of the past traumas. And I want you to start to recognize the patterns because, however you're feeling, if it's something that's not really, even if it was something that was triggered by something that may have recently happened, related to, just ask yourself, have I felt this way before? Have I gone through this type of situation before? Because these are patterns that are coming up for you to become more acutely aware of so that you can, you know, be instrumental in releasing those patterns. Okay. So the first step is to become aware of these patterns. Okay. So start to pay attention. Have I felt this way before? Have I gone through this before? And what do I need to do differently so that I don't end up going through this again? This is why some past lessons may be repeating themselves. Okay. This would be, this pattern of repetition that I always speak about is called hypnotic rhythm. And this is the pattern of repetition that we go back into when we reach a certain level when we reach the end of a cycle. Okay. On the spiral of ascension. And it requires a leap of faith to get to the next level. And we decide, because we do have free will, not to take that leap. And so we decide to go back instead of going forward to the past. And forward to the future. We decide to go back to the past. Okay. There's no other where to go. And so we find, when you are in hypnotic rhythm, which most people who have dealt with narcissists should be familiar with this, because your life becomes like Groundhog Day. Your arguments are like, everything is repetitive because there's nowhere else to go when a person refuses to grow. Okay, I just said something. The only thing that can begin to happen is that you begin to run around in a circle. Okay, unless you're ready to progress to the next level. Okay, King Rastafari. So also, if you're having vivid or lucid dreams at this time, pay attention. Okay, these are messages at this time. The veil between levels of consciousness, okay, which represent dimensions, is very thin, and in some cases is non-existent. So these are not just dreams. Okay, these are messages, and sometimes these are astral travels. Okay, where you can bring back information and downloads and whatever it is that you're acquiring when we are visiting these other realms. Okay, or receiving information from these other realms, we can bring it back to enhance this realm, because this is what creating the new earth is all about. Okay. So again, just like me, my appetite, even before I began to fast, I was eating seaweed soup for like about a week, and then I like it. It's good. So I get this big container of it. I wasn't making it myself because I was so busy. So I would get it from this Asian restaurant, and it's just seaweed and scallions, green onions, and they put a little bit of scrambled egg in it. So I was eating that for about a week. And then now I just can't, eat, I didn't need to eat because I did feel like I was needing to fast. Okay. And this is due to the warfare that's going on as well. So, the point of fasting is that, when we are not feeding the desires of the carnal desires of our physical self, then our spiritual self is able to come more to the forefront. Okay. So it's like a sort of, a level of depriving or weakening the physical self, again, to make the spiritual self stronger, so that the spiritual self can be more in the forefront. Okay. It's sort of like the scripture that says, in your weakness my strength is made perfect. Okay. So the indwelling spirit, when we weaken the flesh, then the spirit is made is stronger. So that's the purpose behind the fasting. And so when we're in warfare, we definitely need to be on point spiritually, especially when you are in a position where for a fact that, people would be targeting you. Okay. And so if your appetite has changed, whatever your body is telling you, if your sleeping patterns have changed, if you've just been feeling drained of energy and feel the need to rest, this is due to work that you're doing, in the spirit realm. Okay. To prepare for this transition from the old timeline where you were mostly physical to the new timeline where you are mostly divine. Okay. So allow these changes to happen. This is what I called the time of change that we are in. And so we have to just go with the flow. And it's, it's not always going to be comfortable, but it most definitely will be worth whatever it is that we're sacrificing of our old self in order to obtain this new version of self. So again, it is a choice. Okay. This is no one is being forced to make these changes. You always have the option of going back into hypnotic rhythm. Okay. So but if you really, are choosing to do the work to actually prepare for this transition and actually, move into alignment with a higher and better version of yourself. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The old self must be sacrificed, okay, in order to fully align with the new self. That just is what it is. And so some people just don't seem to understand that, you know, you can't bring everyone with you. And so these are the sacrifices that we must make. And yes, you have the option of not making those sacrifices. But, again, what I want to make it clear that when you decide not to, you will go back into a cycle of hypnotic rhythm. And if though that cycle has been something that has made you unhappy or has been toxic in any way, let me make it very clear that when we decide to repeat cycles of things that, did not serve us, the cycles that we are going back into are going to be, because what's happening is, if you take the leap of faith, you start to spiral. The spiral of ascension spirals up, and it also spirals down in descension. Okay, so when we take that leap of faith that's required to go to the next level, then you ascend up the spiral. But when you decide to go into hypnotic rhythm by not moving into a higher and better version of yourself, by not deciding to change, which is required here in the time of change. When you decide not to change and you go back into these karmic cycles that you should have been, that you should have completed, they're going to be worse than they were. And each time that you go back, because some people go back into hypnotic rhythm, just over and over, for years. And the more that you continue to do it, each cycle is going to be worse. It'd be worse. And, when we continue to not choose to not evolve, you spiral all the way down, okay, to where it ends in disaster. Okay, so there are consequences to choosing hypnotic rhythm over evolution. Okay. The consequences is that instead of ascending up the spiral, you begin to descend. And as you're descending, the experience is one of feeling, low vibrations, because you're going lower. You're going into the deep end. You're going into the darkness. You're going back into, you know, low vibrations, the lower levels of consciousness. And so you begin to feel, you know, clarity, the mental clarity that you had is no longer there. The connection to the divine that you may have had is no longer there. So if you had spiritual gifts, these begin to diminish. Whatever, it's just you, everything starts to get worse. You start going back to lesser and lesser versions of yourself. This is just the natural result of going backwards. Okay, we were always meant to continue moving forward, but we cannot bring the past into the future. Okay, so I just wanted to make that very clear. It is we have free will to choose, and to each their own. Just understand fully what the consequences are of either not choosing, because by not choosing, you have chosen. And also by choosing to, not move forward, but to go backwards. There are consequences. Okay. So, we are free to make those choices, but we also need to be prepared for the consequences of making those choices. So again, if your appetite has changed, if your sleeping patterns have changed, energy levels have changed, these are all ascension symptoms. Okay, the vivid and lucid dreams, ascension symptoms. Okay, these are just, you are becoming more acutely aware of your connection to other realms, other dimensions, other levels of consciousness. Okay, this is all indicative of you going through this transition from your old timeline to your new one. Okay, so again, be prepared if we choose to ascend to sacrifice the old self, and along with the old self, a lot of the spiritual gravity that was attached to the old self will also fall away. So a lot of the things that your old self was attached to, um, as far as old relationships. Now, some relationships will be healed at this time, okay? And some will fall apart, okay? And this is just a result of the divine balance that the earth is bringing itself into. So if your relationship was, unbalanced, but it was built on a foundation of love, then your relationship will be being healed at this time. If your relationship was not balanced and was not built on a foundation of love, no matter how much you try to hold it together, it is inevitably going to fall apart. And the more you hold, the more tightly that you hold on to something that you're supposed to let go of, the worse that the end will be, because the universe will then snatch that away from you. Okay. And it's going to be more painful than it would have been had you willingly and voluntarily just released that. Okay. So it's very important on this path to learn the art of detachment. Okay. It is an art. Okay. So because the world has been in a state of imbalance for so long, the scales have not been balanced between the divine masculine and feminine energies in this world. And we don't have to look at it like that. We can say, the balance of darkness and light or whatever. It's about balance. Okay. And the state of imbalance that the planet has been in. Okay. It's been in that a state of imbalance for so long that to people who have gotten comfortable in the imbalance, the balance that we're coming into feels abnormal. Okay. Because again, they were comfortable in the chaos, or they were benefiting from the imbalance. Okay. And so these people are not going to be comfortable with the balance that the planet is coming into. Okay. Thank you for the gifts, Empress. I appreciate it. So that's what's happening as again, Mother Earth is healing herself. And so the people on Mother Earth have no choice but to go along with it. Okay. If you have been feeling overly emotional okay, or abnormally emotional, more emotional than you're used to being or than you usually are, or emotions that come out of nowhere that you really can't pinpoint the cause of it. These are all past traumas, suppressed emotions that are now rising to the surface. Okay, and the worst thing that you can do is to suppress these at this time, because these are emotions that have been suppressed for a long time. So the best thing that you can do is allow these to flow and release them. Okay. And because what is happening is, your spirit is releasing past traumas and the pain that's associated with that past trauma. And as you do that, you are releasing the spiritual gravity that I talk about. So when you're done, whether it's a crying session or whatever it is, a venting session, however these emotions manifest themselves, when you have released them, you're going to feel a lot lighter, okay, in your spirit, which is important, okay, in order to be to enter into the realm. Okay, again, it's about your heart being as light as a feather. Okay, so once we have released a lot of the spiritual gravity, you will begin to remember who you are, okay, and the spiritual gifts that have always been a part of you, but that have been lying dormant because of you had all these other things weighing you down and you didn't have access to the gifts. The gifts require for you to be in a higher vibration, and as long as you were carrying all of this trauma and these spirit this what like I said, the spiritual gravity around, like the bag lady, okay, that misses her bus, okay, um you weren't able to have access to the gifts that will come online once you have released the gravity. So if you're in the process, again, this very intense healing process right now, do not give up, but continue going forward, because there are great rewards, that you are giving to yourself. It's like rewards that come from your higher self, okay, to you, um, for doing the work, because your higher self wants alignment, okay? And so you are being cheered on by a larger non-physical part of yourself that is calling you into alignment. So these gifts, again, you've always had these gifts, but they have been lying dormant. So when you begin to feel these come online, they are there for you to play with. Okay. When you realize, I can hear things from other dimensions. I can hear into other dimensions. I know I'm hearing something. Okay, don't deny that. Okay, when you are getting downloads and you feel that you are claircognizant, meaning that I just know things intuitively. This is one of my greatest gifts is claircognizance. Okay, and a lot of people who have this gift, they doubt themselves because they don't have any evidence in the spiritual, in the physical realm to back up what they have, what they know intuitively. However, over the course of your life, if you are claircognizant, pay attention, because all of your life, you may have doubted your intuition, but if you look back over your life, as time passed, and in hindsight, your intuition has always been correct. You know what I'm saying? So just even having to look back over the past, when you have used or have not used your intuition, I'm sure the times, if you look back, the times that you chose not to listen to your intuition, it ended in disaster. And the times that you did listen to your intuition was always right. So this is how we develop that relationship of trusting that indwelling spirit above all else. This is required, okay, at this part of the path. So if your spirit is releasing past traumas in the forms of tears or venting or in whatever emotions may be rising to the surface, allow those to flow, because this is the healing process in action. Okay. And like I said, when you feel your gifts come online after releasing, play with this, because this is what we're here to do. As you unravel the layers, of the lower levels of consciousness, it's like, you begin to access these higher levels. Okay. And it's like, unveiling a beautiful, new, vibrant, luminous set of wings, because this is the time of change. And I always have used the analogy of the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Okay. And this is what a lot of people are doing at this time. And so I want you to enjoy recreation, okay? Recreating yourself, okay? Recreating your world, okay? And allowing, your mind to be renewed, because, and when I say the mind, I'm meaning the heart, which is the subconscious mind from which all the issues of life flow. So, you know what I'm saying? Making sure that we're caring for that, and that we are not attaching ourselves to people who are not going to properly care for that. Okay. It is your most precious jewel. So once you have unveiled this beautiful set of wings, this is, you're going to begin to see yourself as you have never seen yourself before. You're going to unveil a version of yourself that you've never seen before. Okay. A version of yourself that you are absolutely in love with, because this is the person that you've always wanted to be, the person that you always knew that you could be. Okay. And if you heal, you know what I'm saying, that you knew that you would be. And so this is the unveiling, okay, of the true you. And this is the great awakening, the golden age of enlightenment, the age of Aquarius, the time of change. It's about love. In the higher realms, you are literally breathing, okay, and living and having your being in love. It's an energy, a frequency, a vibration. And it's all around you, and it's what's feeding the trees and the grass and the people. This is what it's like in the higher realms. So a version of you that you don't know exists in the higher realms. Okay? A version of you that is in perfect alignment, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Okay? So that version of you is waiting for you to align with it. And the only thing that is required is that you come with a light heart. So whenever you are ready, okay, to release all of these earthly attachments, the larger non-physical part of you that sees your life from a bird's eye view, that is the writer of your story, is waiting for alignment. The new earth is a pure earth with pure people. It's a no-narc network. A pure earth with pure people who work in harmony and in balance with nature, with one another, and with the heart of our compassionate creator in the very center of everything. Just as our own hearts are the centerpiece of our own individual realities. And each individual is drawing from the infinite source, which is love. Okay? And we acknowledge the source in all of our ways. I'm glad you came in here too, King Rastafari. I appreciate your energy. So I feel like, that was about all I wanted to say. I feel like, Spirit has spoken. I don't know how long I've been here, but I feel like, a message has been delivered regarding love and the heart and honoring the heart and being able and being prepared and ready to enter into the new earth or not, It is a choice. It is a decision. So, I'm trying to be more consistent on both platforms at this time, again, because we are at the height of spiritual warfare. And I know what's going on in the spirit realm, and I know what's going on in a lot of people's lives. What's going on is change, because this is the time of change that I dreamt about 26 years ago. So I know what's going on. It's just about, are you allowing your mind to be changed? Because we were not to be King Rastafari. This is normal. This is just a result of the healing energy that I'm sending you. Let that happen. If your whole body is vibrating, you're being fine-tuned. You too, Empress Light. I love it. I love it. This just means that beloved is in the building. This just means that you're feeling this in your soul because you recognize the voice of the Most High. This is one of my gifts, is that my throat was activated in the supernatural. So I want you to prepare, if you're going to do the work, which will be well worth it, to meet the version of you that is in perfect alignment, okay, with your highest self, which is God or Goddess. Your energy, that inner God or Goddess, is just asking to be acknowledged so that he or she can come to the forefront, so that you can see yourself as you truly are. See, a lot of you are giants in the spirit realm, and yet you play small in 3D. So if you want to see yourself as you truly are, mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional alignment is required. No spiritual gravity in the form of toxicity and old memories and seeds of regret and doubt and fear that may still be within your heart center. We can see that in the higher realms. So those seeds must be dug up and replaced with something more positive, something lighter. Entering into the higher realms is literally entering into the realms of light. Rainbows come from the realms of light, and so do the archangels. So to enter into the realms of light, you must become light. You must become light in every form. In every meaning of the word, you must become light. Again, it is a pure earth with pure people. How do I know this? Because I've seen it. It has a glow around it. Pure. Purity is not something that you can fake, but it is something that you can become, and it takes work. You have to prepare, again, to work in harmony with the balance of nature that is in the higher realms. You have to work in harmony with one another. So we can't bring any, anything that is not in harmony and balance into the higher realms. All of the energy that is moving in the higher realms is emanating from the heart of God. It's in the air, it's in the wind, it's in the rain. It's a whole vibe, my people. So you must be transformed in order to acclimate yourself to this new love vibration. Preparing to live and have your being within the heart of God. Preparing to draw as your source and supply, to draw from the heart of your compassionate creator as your source and supply. This source is infinite. There is no lack or want or worry or fear or darkness at all in the kingdom, because you are literally entering into the realms of light. Hence the reason why the heart must be light as a feather. So I'll repeat again before I go, because, it's crucial, it's critical at this time. Because, this is a time where choices are necessary. You have to choose to either evolve by ascending up the spiral, or to not evolve, which will send you back into repetitive cycles of hypnotic rhythm that will send you down the spiral and descending into lower vibrations, into darker versions of your reality, lower levels of consciousness. It is a choice. We do all have free will, but be fully aware that the consequences of the choices that we make are inescapable. So it comes down to, is my fear of the future greater than, or fear of the unknown, greater than my desire? Or is my fear of letting go of the past, my fear of letting go of the past, greater than my desire for a better future? Is basically what it comes down to. So what people do is say, well, what I'm going to do is, my past, I'm going to make it evolve into the future that I want it to have. And so we go back and try to do that. This is how we end up going back into hypnotic rhythm, is that we figure, I'm going to take what I had in the past and I'm going to change it, and I'm going to make it evolve with me. And then it becomes obvious that that's not happening. And a lot of times it takes, a couple of more rounds of hypnotic rhythm for me to realize, for you to realize that it's just not working. And so if you are in these repetitive cycles of hypnotic rhythm, it's because, the message is that this is the end of the road for this. This is a cycle. By the time it has become a cycle, it means that there's nothing more that can be done about this situation. It's going to keep going around and around in circles, okay, until you realize that this is where I'm supposed to get off at, okay? And so if you're in a cycle of hypnotic rhythm, it's like, riding around on a motorcycle in a circle, okay? And the motorcycle is never going to stop. Okay, you literally have to jump off. And so as you see this cycle, because it is on autopilot, that's the whole premise behind hypnotic rhythm. Okay, it's like, once it's like revving up an engine, and once the engine has gotten started, it's just running now. Okay, and so it's on autopilot until you wake up. Okay, hypnotic, because people are doing this without even realizing it. So when you wake up from this hypnosis and realize, I need to do something different if I want to experience something different. To continue to do the same thing and expect a different result is, of course, the definition of insanity. And people who refuse to do the work to evolve, yeah, they're expecting, a different result from doing the same thing, and literally driving themselves crazy. Okay, and so instead of conforming to the world and the world's, vision or version or prescription of what your life should look like, or what it is that you should be striving to be, I think that we should be allowing ourselves to be transformed by renewing of the mind. Okay, and what I mean by that is we have to change our minds about, ourselves, what we believe is possible, what we know is necessary. We have to learn how to be brutally honest with ourselves, to do honest self-evaluations, and then be willing to actually put in the effort to make the changes that are necessary in order for us to align. This is pretty straightforward. This is the hardest work that you'll ever do in your life. This is the work that most people are running from when they go into repetitive cycles of hypnotic rhythm. The hard work that, those of us who have done it, we realize the value of doing that work because we benefit greatly from it. We were able to let go of things like fear and resentment and unforgiveness, things that blocked our flow of love and abundance in our lives. But as long as you're attached to people who trigger those things in you, everything you think about is going to fail. Every ascended master who has walked this planet has walked most of their path alone, because you must pack light. It's an inside job, and it's about cultivating the most important relationship in your lifetime, which is that relationship with your own indwelling spirit. So a lot of times, all these other people that we think we can bring along with us on our path are distractions. So a lot of times, relationships with whoever it is need to be adjusted if we are to do the work. I mean, we can choose not to. You know what I'm saying? It's a choice. But if we are to do the work, your life and its circumstances are clearly telling you what needs to be done. If you are listening, clearly telling you what needs to be done. And so at this time, it's just about getting to the doing, and doing is not always physical actions. Sometimes it's sitting down and allowing yourself to just be still. We all know where we are on our paths, and we all know what we need to do at this point. And if you don't know what you need to do, then that is the work. Your questions, the answers to your questions are within you. And so spend that time alone with self, cultivating that relationship. It's about making the correct choices. For me, it's not about anyone else at this point. It's about what is it that I need in order to, work out my own salvation. Okay. And if my life is to, be an example for anyone else, my method of teaching is to be an example rather than, preaching, because words don't teach. But, when people can see your light shining, it will motivate people to want to figure out how to, how to light their own light, how to shine their own light. And so it's about really working out your own salvation and then allowing people to watch your journey, and inspiring, teaching by example. That's what this is about. And so I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I think I was here for about an hour. Okay. I do appreciate you, King Rastafari, and everyone else who has stopped by on Bigo. I will be back tomorrow. And also to the people who are in my room on Bigo Live. Lady Sweet, I'm glad that you got something out of that. I appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I will be back tomorrow. I was saying how, I am trying to be more consistent due to the spiritual warfare that's going on and how much we need it. Yes, Moses, I'm glad you're here. If you guys do want to catch this, it is on House of Healing LLC on my YouTube channel. You will be able to catch the playback. So this is a midnight mindfulness session. It will be part of the Midnight Mindfulness playlist on my YouTube channel. And this one is called The Quickening. So yes, so I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down because I do want to rest tonight. Got a lot going on, like the busy day tomorrow, but I will be back at some point tomorrow. Okay. And I'm sending you all peace, love, life, healing, and abundance. And I will be back.